All right, board fam, this is it. It is time for me to address the 3 biggest criticisms I get from the haters in my comment section. And the reason why I'm making this video is so I can just link it anytime I get one of these comments, because I get them all the time. So now I can just link this video and say, go check this out. It explains exactly why your comment is so stupid. Okay, so the first one that I want to address is that my channel is the same as theirs, except in reverse. Which always blows my mind when I hear this, because their content is not the same as my content fundamentally. Like, it's different types of content. My videos are primarily me reacting to them, either a video they've made or some sort of statement they've made that's a lie or misinformation or disinformation or something along those lines. That's typically what I do. Their content is finding things to lie about, creating narratives out of things like red carpet interviews with like Hollywood Reporter and Deadline, where an actor or a writer will say one line and they'll take that one line and create 20 videos out of it, or a social media post by them or something like that, or a video they made like 2 years ago. They'll take a quote out of that and they'll make a whole narrative out of that. This is what they do. They craft narratives on tiny things. That is the fundamental core of the type of content that they make. It's what they've been doing for years. This is not a new formula. It's a formula they all follow. Every single one of those channels do that. I don't do that. I literally watch hours and hours and hours of videos and clips from these guys to get the bigger picture, so I can debunk, dismantle, and break down all of the lies, misinformation, disinformation, bullshit that they push out there. There's no comparison to that at all. If you're talking about something like my titles and thumbnails, I am playing by YouTube's game, and I'll explain that in one of the next things we talk about. There's a certain game you have to play on YouTube in order for the system to work, and that system is designed the way it is for a reason. That's why these guys make the kinds of videos they make. But my content is nothing like theirs, and even if it was, say for example, my content is the same as theirs, and all the things I'm saying about them, like I'm calling them liars or grifters or scammers or bullshit artists or whatever term I might throw around, if you say that my content is just like their content, then you're not defending them. You're not making it sound good for them. You're literally saying, hey, I know they're doing all of these bad things, but you're doing it too. Sis, like, that's not a defense. It is not a defense to go, yeah, I know they're doing shit stuff, but you're doing it too. That's not a defense of their content. So when you come in and you leave that, I'm like, okay, so you're admitting in my comment section that everything I'm saying about them is true, and then you just want to apply it to my channel. So it's not even you doing them a favor. So I don't understand this criticism that I'm the same as them, but in reverse. It's really weird. I don't even care. A lot of times I'll just go, okay, so are they bad people? If you're saying that I'm the same as them and you don't like my content, then are you saying that they're also shit content creators? Like, okay, I'll take it. If that's gonna, conceptualize the kind of garbage they're making, then I will take the L on that, and you can move on with your life. I feel like I've done something good at that point. That's the first one I get. Now, let's move into the second one, which will piggyback off of something we talked about in this first portion. Okay, so the next thing I talk about is gonna take up the most time in this video because it has a lot of layers. It's a very layered process here. And it's not even one specific comment, it's more of a vibe thing. And that is that people would call someone like myself or someone who enjoys movies and TV shows a shill, which is like such a watered down version of what that word actually means. Like, a shill is actually somebody who is overly positive about something while receiving some sort of benefit from that, meaning that like the companies are giving people money or incentives or something like that in exchange to like a positive message about their movies or TV shows. That's essentially what a shill is. That's what you would be doing if you were shilling, would be taking something in exchange for something else. Most people that I know in my space, I can't speak for everybody, so this isn't like a flat, nobody does this, but people that I know, people that I interact with are not getting anything from the studios in exchange for talking about stuff that we like. That's just not happening. So the concept of what a shill is doesn't really apply to most channels. I know I've heard the term toxic positivity, but I'm not making 5 videos a day lying about movies and TV shows in order to make them look good. That's not the kind of content that I make on my channel. So like you look at someone like Nerdrotic, or Ryan Kennel's a really good example. We'll make 5 videos in 24 hours time about a small snippet from like an interview and use that to paint an entire movie as a negative, or a TV show as a negative. So you see that and you're like, okay, well, that person obviously has something against this kind of media, and that's why they're doing what they're doing. And they are doing it in exchange for something, because they're getting, donations, subscribers, things like that, selling merch based on lies. And so that application of shill on the opposite end of that would apply to something like that. But you would have to find out that someone is lying. And just to back up my claims about these guys, I have caught them in lies many, many times. Absolute objective lies. I'll give you guys 2 examples. One, like last month, I caught Heel versus Babyface taking an Alex Kurtzman clip out of context and trying to pretend that clip was about Star Trek as a whole. He was talking about diversity, Black Lives Matters, things like that. He was doing that in a clip specifically about something that happened with the Black Lives Matter movement, separate from the production of Star Trek. And Az was using it in a way that created a narrative around it. He was lying about it. He was being disingenuous about it. That's a lie. Therefore, he was lying to his audience in exchange for something, usually views or donations or even merch, something like that. He is using a lie to push that. Ryan Cannell and the Geeks and Gamers guys, I've caught them multiple times talking about there's like a dozen gay characters in Starfleet Academy. That's also not true. That's another lie. So what I'm saying is they are objectively lying about stuff. That's why I push back so hard on this. That's why I do it. Not because I love Starfleet Academy. Like, it's not like I love that show. It's above reproach. There's no criticism for it. That's not at all why. I don't like liars. I don't like people who lie on YouTube or on social media to disparage art in order to extract money from viewers or subscribers or followers or whatever it is. I don't like it. It is something that I believe is a big problem. I think the monetization for Outrage is a big problem. It's probably, if you were to try and put my channel into a nutshell of like, this is what he's against, that's it. That is what I'm against. I don't like the monetization of Outrage. I think it's been a net negative to not just the fandoms online, but the world. I think it's a problem. You can even look online. Someone that I absolutely 100% disagree with is Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh has come out against the monetization on Twitter because Twitter has become a cesspool, and other social media outlets have also followed with that. There is no room for nuanced conversation about any of this. There's no room for it on YouTube specifically. Let's talk specifically about YouTube. You go back a decade, you see channels like movie review channels like Chris Stuckman and Jeremy Johns, right? They're probably, if you look back at that period of time, they're probably like middle of the road review channels when they started growing, because they're just guys with a camera and a microphone, and they're reviewing movies. It's probably the most similar to what most people do on YouTube. They weren't at that time, they weren't backed by a large company. They weren't doing all the things they're doing now. They were just dudes on YouTube reviewing movies. And a lot of times they would love stuff and they would dislike stuff. And that's the way it was. You could have those kinds of conversations about it. I miss those conversations. They don't exist on YouTube in the capacity they used to exist in because YouTube doesn't promote it. YouTube is part of this problem. They are absolutely a part of the issue. They're not the only part of the issue, but they are a portion of the problem. They are not completely blameless in all of this. But the channels that I talk about, the people that I talk about here on YouTube are jumping into that pipeline, into that algorithm, and riding that to victory. And YouTube is promoting that, which is why the nuanced conversation, the more balanced conversation about movies and TV shows has gone away. You have to be polarizing in one way or the other. You have to completely glaze, suck off, hand job something, or you have to hate it, call it virtue signal, call it woke, call it DEI. There is no middle conversation happening at a large scale on YouTube anymore. It is not. That's why I do the Nerdcast. That's why my podcast exists the way it does. because I like to talk to people who don't all feel the same way about something and can have an intelligent conversation about movies and TV shows that doesn't require them to hate on everything in order to pay their mortgage, which is where these channels are. The vast majority of the channels that I talk about, and I try to stick to the larger ones, is because those channels make the most money off of this content. And that's why it's hard to take anything they say at face value, because we know that they have to do what they're doing because it is a living for them. And anytime somebody is making a living off of something that is, criticizing art, you have to wonder, like, are they being honest? Or are they not being honest anytime? And I would say you should feel that way about everyone in the field. You have to look at it and go, okay, is what they're doing, does it make sense? Does it make sense to me? Does it make sense to the larger picture that we have? Does it actually add any value to the conversation? I can't have a conversation about wokeness in media like in a honest way, because to me, it's not actual criticism. It is lazy. Oh, there's a black woman in it, so it's going to be bad. Oh, there's a gay person in one scene in a 2-hour movie. That's why it flopped. Women can't lead films. Why is this Asian person talking about how much they love what they're doing in movies when they're accepting an award? That's something wrong with that. Like, none of those things are actually contributing anything to the betterment of art. They're just not. But they get more clicks than somebody who comes on and says, the cinematography was off a little bit. I didn't like the soundtrack. The dialogue in this one scene was a little off, but the rest of the movie was pretty solid. There's a difference in the way people consume that kind of media. And what has happened is YouTube has assisted in helping drive people towards the brain rot. There's extreme brain rot on the right and the alt-right stuff, extreme, hateful, disgusting brain rot. And then there's this AI overly glazed, like a trailer for every movie, AI brain rot that YouTube has right now. And those two things are taking up all the space on YouTube. That's just the reality of it. I'm sorry I hit my microphone. So there's just no room for that stuff anymore. There's no room. Like, if I were making videos where I'm having a balanced conversation about a movie or a TV show, YouTube is going to look at that and go, I don't know where to put this. Where does this go? Where does it fit in our ecosystem? I reviewed TV shows way back in 2016, 2017, 2018 on my Eric's Reloaded channel. I would review Marvel shows, like the Netflix shows, the Hulu stuff. I reviewed the CW stuff. I did that, and there was a very good community and a good pipeline on YouTube for that content. We used to talk about it every week, and the channel was growing, and YouTube was really loving that stuff. And then sometime around 2018, 2019, YouTube was like, fuck this balanced content. We're going to completely destroy the algorithm for that and just allow the extreme stuff to rise to the top. I know this happened for sure. Myself and Paigey, the other person that I did content with back then, pretty much every week, we noticed there was a shift in the algorithm, and YouTube stopped promoting stuff that was balanced reviews for TV shows and movies. They didn't care anymore. There was no room for it. YouTube didn't want to do that. So they started pushing extremes of everything. So it makes me sad to admit it, but that kind of content is gone. So when people come on here and say, you don't criticize anything, I absolutely do. Go look at the Nerdcast. Watch the Nerdcast. I have said I have issues with Starfleet Academy. I've had issues with Acolyte. I had issues with other shows. But there's no reason for me to complain about the color of the door on a house when the house is on fire. The house is already burning down. Me saying that I don't like that the door is blue or red or green doesn't really add anything to that. It doesn't help it. It doesn't stop the fire. It doesn't do anything. My point being is nuanced, balanced criticism gets burned up in the house fire of the outrage content. And it doesn't add anything to the conversation. So when I come in for like a show like Starfleet Academy and I'm like, they're lying about this stuff, that's not me giving Starfleet Academy a 10 out of 10. It's not me putting a gold star on the show and going, good job, good job. It's not me doing that. It is me calling out lies. When people said, oh, you're being the opinion police, I'm not. You can have your own opinion about it. Matter of fact, in the Nerdcast, I'm going to keep shouting this out, we have a panel of 4 to 5 people every single night we're live on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I can't think of a time when we have all agreed on something. Like there are people that just don't like stuff and they don't watch it. And I'm okay with that. I actually champion that. I think you should stop watching something if you're not loving it. I don't think you should engage with stuff that you're not in love with anymore. It's like when you're dating someone and you break up with them, but you're still stalking their Facebook. You're still stalking their Instagram. You're still stalking their Snapchat. It is unhealthy to keep engaging with stuff that you don't like anymore. Stuff that you used to love that you don't like anymore. It is very, very unhealthy. And I promise you, it is better for you to move on and find something else you do love and let go of that thing that is no longer important in your life. It's much better for you. And I champion that. I say that's a great thing. You should do that. Definitely 100%, which is why when these guys create these videos for the 20th video about how Star Wars is dying, and you have all of these Star Wars fans or people that used to be Star Wars fans in the comment section, just engaging in this every single day, watching this shit every single day. It is emotionally and mentally bad. It is a negative to you to do that, which is why I like to jump in and sort of add my 2 cents into all the lies and the narratives and things that they're doing. I like to do that because I want to dismantle that and have people realize, hey, maybe I don't have to watch this stuff. Maybe I don't have to engage with this. They might not like me, but I would rather you walk away from all of it than to continue to engage in that nonsense and hurt yourself. Stop stalking your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend's Facebook page. It's not healthy for you. And that brings us to my last one. This is the one that makes me laugh the most because it's so batshit. I don't even know why people say this. You're just jealous because they have more subs than you, and therefore that means they're right. Sub count and follower counts doesn't equal accurate or correct or right. That is such a dumb statement. And all it tells me is that you're only listening to them because they have a lot of subscribers. Because if they were saying the same thing they were saying and they had less subs than me, and I can find plenty of channels out there, plenty of them that have less subs than I do that are saying the same thing that Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker are saying, but would you disagree with them then because they have less subs than me? No, that doesn't make any sense. So when you say something like this, all you're telling me and everybody else is that you're a sheep following them because they have a lot of subs. It doesn't mean that they're accurate. Like, what kind of nonsense is that? How many people have gone viral for doing dumb shit? Look at TikTok. There's entire TikTok accounts with, 500 million followers where all they do is fucking harass people. They'll go in stores and play pranks on people and harass them. Does that mean they're right or they're accurate or what they're doing is good to the world? No, it doesn't mean any of that. That doesn't mean, like, your sub count doesn't mean, it means even less on YouTube now because YouTube shorts are so important and that doesn't drive subscriber numbers. It doesn't help with views on your channel. This is such a weird comment. Like, what if I had 3 million subs, you'd be my fan and not theirs? Is that where it's at now? Like, if I had 3 million subs and they had 2 million, that would make me right and them wrong. I highly doubt that. So it's just a dumb comment. Anyway, those are the 3 things I think I talked about more than 3, but the 3 primary things that I wanted to discuss in today's video. I just wanted to get this out because I wanted to have a video where anytime somebody leaves one of these comments, I could just link them to it and go, I discussed this already, go watch this video. So that's it. And I also wanted to do it because I saw a lot of people in the comment section wondering what I thought about Starfleet Academy and why I was quote unquote defending it. I'm not defending it on quality. I do like the show. It's far from perfect. Again, I'd probably rank it like a 6 or 7 out of 10. It's far from perfect. I just don't like liars. And when you lie about something in order to make it look bad, that is going to be a big red flag for me. And that's just it. That's all of that in a nutshell.